and welcome to Sagas of Sundry, Quests and Answers, where we break down the latest episode of Goblin Mode. I'm Dan Casey, and once again I'm joined by my amazing friends and colleagues.
Danielle Radford, hi.
Amy Vorpahl.
Jason Nguyen.
And today we're going to talk about a very auspicious episode. A lot happened here. We got ourselves into some big trouble, but before we go any further, folks, you have to know this is going to be spoiler heavy. If you haven't seen the most recent episode of Goblin Mode, go no further unless you don't care about spoilers, in which case, I don't understand how you live. Okay, with that said, let's get into it. So, we're taking part in a heist.
I love it. Yes. I couldn't be happier that we're going to do a heist.
I did not see that coming. We kind of talked ourselves into it.
I will say from the beginning of the episode, I didn't know how that was going to go. I knew the motivations of the people that I had, and I had plenty of proof that you were part of the Fiends Union and that Crandall was not going to play ball, but I didn't know exactly how that was going to go down. I think it went down badly. Like
for us or for Crandall?
I mean, for everyone. Like the dwarf. Chab went down, like unconscious.
Yeah. I guess we did almost die.
That was pretty
we almost
close.
lost 2 members of our
party. That was
party.
a pretty close party wipe, yeah.
It was a high focus on the gun, but that is how Chekhov's gun works.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like it's like, why would you introduce a gun and not shoot flames into the barrel?
Exactly, not explode it the next episode.
That's right.
Tragic. I was so sad in that moment. I was like, he wanted that gun so bad.
I loved how you were playing Tippy, just being obsessed with this piece of machinery that he has. He hasn't seen it before.
He's never
right?
seen a gun.
Yeah.
He's heard of it.
Yes.
He's maybe read about it, but he's never seen a gun. So that was a big moment for him.
Yeah, we got a bunch of great Tippy moments this episode, especially during that battle with. Tell us about your brush with. Ratcanthropy.
I was like, what disease am I gonna get? Oh no!
You literally go, oh man, poison again, and I'm like, oh.
I instantly thought, oh, what disease might a rat have? Probably rabies.
Yeah, I was like, oh, rabies. Oh no!
Yeah, unfortunately, they could turn the tide of the entire character.
Yeah. The image of Tippy as a were-rat with a gun that's too much.
It's a
we can't do
lot.
that.
It's a lot. Yeah, new character art, please.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, who's leaving spare bits of cheese around the streets of Nakbreka?
Clutch needed that cheese.
Yeah.
That's right.
You were really into the trash cheese.
Yeah, I mean, it was either gun or trash cheese, so I had one to find and found the trash cheese.
When in doubt, have a snack.
Yeah. It was crazy because I feel like we were all like in a rough spot. Like your head was away from your body. You were in a weird like body shield situation.
You had to use that one specific mechanic that is racially based from the homebrew, from Walrock Homebrew.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Oh,
but you kind of only need to use that in dire straits.
Yeah. So that's basically just it's like, okay, peace out, and then just like Busy collapses on herself and just becomes like this little
pile of bones.
This little pile of bones.
It's so funny.
It's like a really cool twist on the relentless endurance trait that half-orcs have, where if they go down to 0, they can go back to 1 HP. But in this, you just turn into a pile of bones. And my favorite part is that it looks like you're under the effects of feigned death. So everyone's like, I guess that skeleton is dead.
Yeah.
Unless I choose to disbelieve the pile of bones.
I also don't think that it's like canon that you need like a friend's assistance to put you back together, but I do like that you do.
Yeah, I just think, big pile of bones, and I just feel if you're already up, if you just like, it's just a helping claw or hand.
Yes.
Just because if you can like get started with a couple, then like we can do it all, but it's like, if it's just busy doing it by herself, it's like a very slow,
sad.
Like, now
It's
I like
sad.
move my thumb over, and now I've got to move over this segment. And you know how many bones are in your head? It's so many bones.
How many, do you know?
It's
many?
I want to say it's
Too
like
many.
It's over
It should
like
be
100.
one.
It's over
There's
like 100 or something.
bones?
You have most of the bones in your body are in your hands,
That's
Just quantity? Whoa.
That's
which
insane.
is like wild.
It's like a carnival
you.
game. Guess how many bones are in my hands and you win them.
Yeah, thank you, Hank Green. That's how I know that. That is not a thing that I know because I know it. Thank you, Hank Green. But yeah, like the most bones you have in your body are in your like hands, and I think in your feet. So it's like 100, 200, something crazy like that. And so it would just be a long time to kind of Lego Lincoln Log herself back together. So
Yeah.
it's definitely like
Yeah.
uppies, like please, like someone give me a
I
little
love
bit
the
of help.
uppies. It's a good bit of flavor as well, just for these
Yeah.
characters too, to be like, oh, this is clearly something that we have had to do a bunch, just working in the dungeon.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just like friend maintenance. It's like, you know how, gorillas, like they like groom each other.
Yeah, it's
like
the same
we
as
put
that.
our bones
Damon
back
Albarn.
together.
It's the same as that,
Yeah.
for sure. It's the same as gorillas grooming each other.
Yeah, two skeletons putting each other back together.
You know gorillas rip each other's spines out and put them back together?
Yeah, they just rebuild each other's rib cages, you know.
Because of friendship. Because
course.
of deep gorilla friendship.
Of course.
Yeah.
I want to talk to Dan about the glass cannon moment that, wizards are supremely powerful, but almost always to their detriment.
Yeah. Look, it's a calculated risk that I took, and I was asking questions about how cones work because I, Dan, am a dumbass. And I just wanted to make sure I wouldn't burn my friends.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't anticipate the mini thermonuclear reaction that would occur when I exploded this.
You're like, I want the gun to explode. I was like, well, okay. And literally in Burning Hands, it says if anything flammable is
Yeah,
nearby, it's gonna go up.
I was gonna try to get both of them, and I'm like, what's the coolest thing I can do? Because you preempted me with, I had an idea, and you did with your unseen servant. You had her go and try to grab the gun, and I was like, that's awesome, because I was gonna have my mage hand try to fire the gun at the were-rat, but I'm like, okay, what's the other cool thing I can do? I'll blow it up.
Of the gun. It just was that specific turn. Everyone was circled around the
Yes.
gun. I want to hear from all of you. What was it like to get some backstory on Crandall P. Greckleworth?
For me, it was interesting because you sort of alluded to this in the episode, but Crandall P. Greckleworth is a character that I originally came up with
Yes,
because
we have Dan, specifically his backstory to thank for Crandall P. Greckleworth.
I'm sorry if you hate him, but you're in good hands because Phibbs also hates him. So before this campaign, we did a session 0, which is something great, and everyone should do that for their campaigns. Make sure everyone's on the same page across the board. It was really helpful. Let us sort of experiment with these characters and get a feel for them. I wasn't clear if this was just for us to get to know each other as a group and see how we play together. So I made a separate character because I was like, oh, well, I don't want to waste my concept on this one shot basically.
Yeah.
So I came up with this just really wretched worm tongue looking guy that theoretically Unzug would send into town to be his there's always that weird human who
Right.
works for the Dark Lord who's oh, you've sacrificed all of your brethren in exchange for a modicum of power, and in this case, access to
The-
auctionable items.
The scene servant. not
Yes.
the-
Yes,
the very
the
scene servant.
The servant I wish I didn't have to see.
right, yeah, and then it was also Danielle's backstory was very much she wants to be the number 2, so her hated person is whoever his number 2 is, and that it was also, I mean. Yeah, he just generally sucks. There's just no way around it.
When you described him as the chief operations officer, I was like, this is so funny.
He's a C-level, just
Yeah.
piece of. And the other concept I was working with was well, he probably thinks he did a really good job. The dungeon was going well, minions were getting killed, but
Yeah.
the dungeon was fine.
I like that the other NPCs you made also don't like him.
Well, he was ineffectual, completely,
Just
completely
entrenched
inane.
mediocrity.
Yeah.
How'd he get this?
Yeah, mid.
How did he fail so up?
Feels like he was probably one of those money guys that came in and he still gets the golden parachute of all of the stuff, even though the
Right.
dungeon got liquidated and everyone got laid off.
But without any proof, you guys weren't there. All of your other minions from Unzug's lair was decimated. So it's well, he could come in and promise he's from Unzug's lair, have the proof, have information that would prove that, and then tell the market oh yeah, I know how minions work, and they'd probably believe him.
Yeah.
And they did. But then
I would endorse him for minion management on LinkedIn in the absence of meeting our characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, he dropped some pretty big news, which is Unzug's alive.
Yes.
It's very much sounding like Unzug went out for cigarettes and just decided not to come back.
Not if he was trying to be surreptitious.
I know, that's
about
why
it.
it's suspicious.
It is suspicious.
Speaking of suspicious, can we talk about the Marked?
Oh, the March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with them?
The Marked. So you learned this episode that there is a faction called the Marked who live at Wretched Cove, the city in the sky. And you also learned that they're made up of lycanthropes or porcanthropes or whatever, baconthropes.
Werebore.
Werebore. They're made up of shifters who run the gamut between humanoid and kind of accepted in places like the Beyond versus the monsters that are more accepted in the Desolation. And where do they fit?
No, it's a very cool faction, especially because they have access to so many resources.
Yeah.
They have an airship, like they have a secret lair, and like the only thing they don't have apparently is a way to infiltrate this union, which I think is very cool because despite them being able to turn into these monstrous forms, it's not monstery enough for the people in Fiends United.
That was the chord I was trying to strike a little bit between, like how half-elves and their just history is like, well, we don't belong with humans and we don't belong with elves. Geez, like where do we go? And this whole this whole campaign is about monsters kind of coming into their own. So I felt like there needed to be a bit of someone who would be sympathetic towards you, not outright on your side, but not also outright.
You almost killed my friend, but come to our hideout.
So you
that's where all of our stuff is.
Oh, it's Crandall's fault? All right, you're cool.
I know. Thank God for Crandall as a scapegoat.
Yeah. No, I like that there was the opportunity as well to kind of talk our way out of the conflict.
Yeah, I think you used every turn minus the final time that you did cast a spell, but to intimidate and to use Crandall as a shield and use your wily ways.
Sometimes when words fail, we have burning hands.
That's right. Well, then eventually we did get to Pakara and a heist plan. Pakara. Yeah, Tippy had some moments.
We had a really great Tippy moment there. I loved seeing just how much he like beats up on himself. It's just such I feel like that's super relatable to so many people out there. Just feel like they are, despite being like objectively creative, they feel like what they do isn't enough, or they're like not living up to their expectations or other people's expectations. And it was like a really sweet, thoughtful like side of Tippy and introspective where it's like crushing to see him feel like this, but
and also validated. But also validated, like you did whiff a bunch,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like my friends were gassing me up, and then I was in the moment. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I also loved that Busy was playing the game of, oh yeah, and you should know that he saved a burning building full of puppies and gave me a ride to LAX.
Like, she's doing the math for everyone.
Busy's trying to like be a good wing woman, and like
Busy's amazing at that.
And like every time, Busy's like lobbing him up, and is like, you just keep like knocking him down. Like no, I really am a piece of. And it's like no, like
I did catastrophically mess up this one situation, so.
But it also is. I mean, Pakara said it too. But if goblins are out on their own, that's just That's not really like something.
Oh yeah, we got a big lore nugget
yeah.
that there was not a good opportunity there yet. I didn't want to bring it up in front of these were folks, the Marks, because I don't know them that well. But yeah, we gotta learn more about Tippy and what his deal is. But,
what his deal.
Yeah,
what
I'm
his
very very curious because it seemed like he was one of the few goblins in Unzug's employ.
Yeah,
it is so fun to me, and because this is why I love this game so much. Is like I, as a player, know that I want to play Tippy as like somebody who's clumsy and like doesn't achieve his goals well, and then I'm rolling horribly. Right?
Your attempt at hiding.
The dice agree.
The dice agrees. Like I'm crit failing. I'm rolling 5 and under 3.
Was your first roll today a crit fail?
Yeah, it was a crit fail off the bat. Yeah.
It's an interesting kind of mind game to play too, because all of these monsters that I introduced, they have stat blocks, right? And they're normally, some of them are CR an 8th or a CR 4th or a CR a half, but most of them are CR 1s or 2s or 3s or 4s or even higher. And that's crazy. Like if you actually were level 2s, 3 level 2s, all fighting a CR 4, you die immediately. So it's like, but meanwhile, these were creatures are normally around like CR 1 or 2 or 4 or whatever. But in this world, because you're the PCs, you are the heroes, and so So I was trying to do that with Pakara, going like, well, I can do some stuff, and I do have stats, and there are, there are mechanics, but you're a hero, like you're better at it somehow, and you like trained harder. So it's like there's some justification that I'm doing on my end that like while these are monsters that would, in a normal game they'd be the people out trying to kill you.
And what a smart just to compliment you as a DM, like what a smart way to tie, because I had brought up these magical items that I wanted to make like 2 sessions ago.
Oh yeah.
Right? And when I was like dumping my stuff out, I didn't think that this is gonna be the moment I'm gonna hand these things to my friend.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
but
that was
I
a
have
great moment.
Thank you. And I just want to say that being a dungeon master is not, or it doesn't have to be, a solo operation. In this case, it is not a solo operation. I have 2 story producers, Rin and Shawan, who are amazing. They take notes every game. They're like, what do you need to remember? I mean, that was Rin and Shawan going like, here's what we need to remember. Like you had some stuff cooking.
Yeah.
There's a lot, by the way. Like there's a lot that I'm, we're all working together to help pay off the story, but also, yeah, thank you for saying that. And also, you should know that, like, there's a team. Yeah, go team. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It takes a village
It
to
really
plan
does.
a heist.
Take a village to learn that.
I really excited I just keep that's why I'm like, I want the lair to blow up and then to be like Bond.
We need to
because
walk
that's
away.
how
Right.
that's how Bond movies end. You get the thing, you defeat the
said
people.
that, yeah, a few times. I'm like, okay, we got to give Danielle like
need
a
it.
vignette
It's
for
going to be like Skyfall, where we're just blowing up a mansion.
And then we're on a boat with a hot lady.
A skyboat.
a skyboat with a hot lady, a hot goblin lady. Yeah, that the way y'all came up with what you're going to do. Truly unprecedented. I can't wait to see how this plays
I love
out.
like you were trying so hard to throw us like a bone of any sort of sanity. You're like, and you can hire mercenaries to help you.
No.
Would you like any of this to make sense?
No, it's gonna be a kegger. I think. Oh yeah,
Maybe more
you were
barrels of
trying to. You're trying to get some as well.
I also Busy also like really wants that shirt, but it's also I think a thing of like, well, improv everywhere is probably not like in like near that tavern. So I was trying to think Danielle as the person was like, what character did we already have on deck that we've seen who could be someone who could be a convincing talker? And that's why I was like, oh well, I know a lot of like game show people and like actors and stuff do auctioneering. That is like a thing that you can do if you are an actor or if you.
What an incredible skill set to multi-class into auctioneer.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was like, oh, off the top of the dome, I just know that a lot of auctioneers are actors or people who speak in public for a living.
It's such good logic. It also is self-serving for Busy.
Yes, if there is. Hey, I mean, look, Busy likes compliments. Busy mostly really wants that Unzuck shirt, like real bad.
She wants some auction and she wants some action.
Amazing. Yeah, by the end of the episode, when I was like, all right, I need to like for myself need to know what the plan is, and repeating it back was like, oh my god, what are we?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not even sure the story producers can keep track of our insane PEMDAS on this. So first, you place the mirrors, then the booze comes, then it explodes? No. But first, there's an auctioneer. We didn't tell you about that, and there's more booze.
The only way this could be more complicated, we just have Brad Pitt like walk around eating in the background as we're
Eating
playing.
chips in the background.
We'll pull like an Ocean's 13 and have Unzug appear as himself.
We called it what, a Boneshins, right? Or
Boneshins 11.
Boneshins 11.
Ocean's 11. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
And I like that Crandall he's like, no, I'm staying back behind.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I do like that Crandall is around and generally annoying, but also still kind of important.
Necessary.
Yeah, and I, like you said before, I like that the March kind of drew the same conclusions a little faster.
Like, this guy sucks, but he knows stuff.
Yeah.
So did you expect us to take this down the road of a heist?
Yeah. Like, did
I'm
you know
curious,
a heist was
like-
going to happen?
So I barely. What do I say? Did I know a heist was going to happen? Everything that I said in the episode that the March did have a plan. I don't know that they would have allied with you necessarily.
Cool. Yeah.
They definitely didn't have the plan that you had.
What?
They
Verbatim?
Yeah.
they are going after the Fiends United. There were a few. Like yes and no is the answer, but
It was an option on the table, but
It's an
not
option
guaranteed.
on the
we're gonna
table.
take
For a
it.
heist.
Yeah. Amy is always
Always
preparing
ready.
for a
That is
heist.
not true. I am not always prepared for a heist, but I did. I don't know. Gosh, it's really hard to say because I don't know that I would have called it a heist, but they were after the Fiends United, and then you were as well, and it doesn't matter.
As soon as you mentioned that vault, my brain was just like,
Yeah.
heist.
Okay, good.
But
good,
we're
good,
also
good.
like heist, and we don't care about the money, which is the funniest part.
'Cause
We're just in
we
it for
don't
like the
understand
paper.
Oh no! You want to blow it up.
I just wanna blow it
You
up.
want to destroy whatever's in the safe. Fuck it.
We just do it for the joy of stealing.
Yeah, we're here for the love of the game.
Yeah. Leave it all on the field.
Heist, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, between all of you almost dying, and some of you actually getting really
I did.
You had to roll a death save.
I had to roll a death save. I think our first death save, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
first death save.
First death save.
In
Yeah,
the
you've been
fifth
buried alive,
episode.
but you didn't have to roll a death save then.
Yes.
No. Between that and planning a heist, it does feel like the adventure is cooking.
Yes.
And especially after that chase scene, it's like it's a challenge to keep up with your antics in
Well,
the best way.
I'm excited for more like social combat, which is what I anticipate in any sort of like heist scenario, because
Oh my gosh.
it's going to be a lot of us lying through our teeth.
Oh, for sure. And you, I mean, at least the people that you're prepared to meet, I mean, you've gotten a lot. What else? There's been a lot of lore drops that I've seen some of you writing it down, and it
Yeah.
is very
Yeah.
interesting
Yep.
to me, like what may or may not be important.
We got to talk about the biggest lore drop, which is the 5 articles of the Sundari champions.
Right.
Which
She was like the
I
main
was like,
quest
yeah,
got
that's
revealed,
because
right?
Yeah.
it's mentioned in the very first episode when we overhear the Yesterdusters.
Yeah.
They talk about they say like, 4 to go or something like
Yep.
that.
Right.
And I was just like, wait a minute. This is like the first thing we heard that I'm just like, okay, yeah, it's just exposition. We're like learning what's going on. Then to find that be important like 4 episodes later, I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
the answers are right in front of us.
Well, that makes my little heart very happy that you're connecting those dots. Yeah, it's really cool to be able to have that be, I don't know, 2 seconds,
Yes.
less than a minute. And then the most of the episode is heist and stuff, but then you're like, it's really cool to me that you're picking up some of this stuff.
Yeah.
The thing that I'm enjoying as well is like when you gave, Phibbs has this knowledge, but he doesn't understand how he has this knowledge. And he's going to have to unravel later on, like, the 5 articles of the Sundari, wait, I know they connect, their logo was connected to the Sundari. He needs a long rest to really think about this when he's in his own little bone zone.
I think the group needs just another sidebar, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quick
there's like
sidebar.
5 or 6 sidebars,
Yeah.
and we were gonna get this down.
We're gonna get it down.
I love that no NPC has called us out on us being just talking blatantly in front of them.
We don't go anywhere.
Extremely polite. We just lean in.
We like kind of face away from them a little bit. That's it.
I know, I will say, I mean, you could probably tell it's me going, oh God, like, there's probably going to be some stuff that I need to hear really what's going on in these tables' brains. And sidebars are always funny. They're always, little, like, clip out moments, so.
Yeah, I'm just excited to learn more about these magical objects of supreme power, especially since, that's what was stolen from Unzug's lair. The Marked have one apparently. There's 3 more that are unaccounted for, or do they have? I forget. They have one in Fiends United has one, or they have a line on one.
They don't know what
Do we
Fiends
know?
United has. No,
Okay, no,
they're very clear that they don't know what Fiends United
Great.
has.
Yeah, they've got the lichen folk. They've got the chalice because
Correct.
they've got the other dude's got the fake chalice.
The Yesterdusters
yeah, the
have the
Yesterdusters
circlet.
have the circlet, and the staff
Unzug has a
is
fancy staff.
Yeah.
where we're
Staff.
trying to figure out who's got the
Well, I think Unzug has the staff.
Yeah, he took
Unzug's
his
got the
staff.
staff. He's got
He's
yeah.
still alive, right?
The
He
big
packed that in a suitcase.
Big Cobra.
Yeah, big
It like
snake staff.
snaps down into parts, his little travel kit.
Yeah, no, I use a cane sometimes. You just take it apart, and it just collapses.
Yeah, the python-headed staff that you know about.
All right. Well, I'm excited to keep track of all of these other items of immense power. I'm excited to see what may lurk within the mansion.
I want to interrupt you because I don't know if the audience will have tracked this yet, but there is one other big piece of information, or it's not information, it's like, I would say it's a secret that could have been revealed if you thought about it, and that happened this episode too, and I'm not sure if y'all clocked it just yet, which is exciting.
A secret that could have been revealed if we thought about it.
I can guarantee you, Tippy missed it.
Well,
Completely went over Tippy's head.
To me, maybe it was that Unzug knew the lair was going to get attacked.
That's my guess.
And left before it was going to happen.
Oh
gave
my
Crandall
God.
the heads up. So it was an inside job.
Because like,
to a
why
certain
would he?
extent.
That was my thinking. Because why
Yeah.
would he pack? Who has time to pack if you're fleeing?
This is
Okay, then there's another one as well.
there's a second Unzug out there, and we will find him.
The Toonzoo.
Toonzug, no.
Well, folks, we're going to learn much more about the Unzug conspiracy and how deep it goes on a brand new episode of Sagas of Sundry Goblin Mode whenever it comes to you in your earballs next. I don't know why I said that, but I'm not going to take that again. You have to sit with that just like I have to sit with that. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you tune in for the next episode of Goblin Mode wherever fine podcasts are served and on Geek and Sundry. See you next time. Bye-bye.